Once the narcissist hurts a loyal woman, she will never be the same, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you something powerful today, something that will shake the very core of those who have been broken, betrayed, and left questioning their worth. And there's a woman out there, maybe she's you, maybe she's someone you know, who gave her heart, her soul, and her unwavering loyalty to someone she loved without limits, stood by someone when they were at their worst, and sacrificed pieces of herself just to hold things together. And then she was hurt, not just hurt, but deceived, betrayed, disrespected. She was made to feel small by someone who never valued her greatness. But let me make this clear, she will never be the same again, because when a narcissist wounds a loyal woman, she does not break, she evolves. She does not fall, she rises. The pain she endured will not define her, it will refine her. You see, the mistake they made was assuming that her loyalty was weakness. They thought they could manipulate, gaslight, and control her forever. But here's the truth. They only awakened a force greater than they could ever comprehend. Because after the pain, she transforms. She is no longer the woman who tolerates toxicity. She is no longer the woman who gives without receiving. She is no longer the woman who puts others first while abandoning herself. No, she is a woman reborn, a woman with boundaries, a woman with unshakable self-worth, a woman who no longer begs for love but demands respect. And the best part? She no longer seeks revenge. She doesn't need to, because her success, her happiness, and her newfound power are enough. The narcissists, they lose access to the light they once took for granted. So if you are that woman, or if you know someone who is, understand this. The pain was not your end, it was your awakening. Rise up, take your power back, and never, ever settle for less than you deserve. Because once a loyal woman learns her worth, she becomes unstoppable. Loyalty is not weakness. Let's get one thing straight. Loyalty is one of the most powerful forces in this world. It's the glue that holds relationships, businesses, and dreams together. And when a woman gives her loyalty, she gives it all in. She stands by someone when times are tough. She believes in their potential even when they don't believe in themselves. She is the one who carries the weight of love, commitment, and sacrifice on her shoulders without hesitation. But here's the problem. People who don't understand the value of loyalty mistake it for weakness. They think that just because she stays through the storms, she'll stay through the wreckage. They assume that because she forgives, they can continue taking advantage of her. They believe that her willingness to fight for love means she will tolerate disrespect. And that's where they're dead wrong. A loyal woman isn't weak. She is rare. She is the kind of person who will stand in the fire with you, who will uplift you, who will see the best in you when you can't even see it yourself. But loyalty must be met with loyalty. Respect must be met with respect. And the moment she realizes she is being taken for granted, the game changes forever. Because loyalty is not about blindly staying. It's about standing for what is right. And when a woman realizes that the person she's loyal to does not deserve her, she doesn't just walk away. She evolves, she learns, she grows. She becomes someone who no longer tolerates anything less than what she deserves. And when she reaches that point, there's no going back. She is no longer available for manipulation. She is no longer open to empty promises. She is no longer willing to carry a love that isn't reciprocated. Because once she understands the true power of her loyalty, she refuses to waste it on someone who doesn't cherish it. So to every woman who has given her heart fully, who has stood by someone even when it hurt, who has been there through thick and thin, you are not weak, you are not naive, you are a force to be reckoned with. And when you choose to give your loyalty to yourself first, you become unstoppable. Pain is a teacher. Nobody likes pain. Nobody wakes up in the morning hoping to be hurt, betrayed, or broken. But here's the truth. Pain is the greatest teacher you will ever have. Pain strips away illusions. Pain forces growth. Pain is the wake-up call that shakes you out of complacency and shows you exactly who and what you need to walk away from. Think about it. If everything was easy, if everything always went smoothly, would you ever change? Would you ever push yourself to rise to the next level? Would you ever take a hard look at your life and say, this isn't working, I deserve better? No, because comfort keeps people stuck. Pain, on the other hand, forces evolution. When a woman is hurt by someone she trusted, she goes through a transformation. At first, it feels unbearable. The betrayal stings, the lies cut deep, the disrespect shakes her foundation. She asks herself, how could this happen? Why did I allow this? But then something incredible happens. She wakes up, she realizes that the pain was never there to break her, it was there to build her. She starts to see the truth that she once ignored. She starts to understand that she was giving her love to someone who didn't appreciate it. She starts to recognize the red flags she overlooked, and then she makes a decision. She will never allow herself to be in this position again. She will never give her loyalty to someone who doesn't earn it. And that's when the real magic happens. She stops feeling like a victim. She stops blaming herself. She stops wishing things were different. Instead, she uses the pain as fuel. Fuel to become stronger, fuel to set boundaries, fuel to build a life where she is valued, respected, and loved the way she deserves to be. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is the beginning of a woman's awakening. And once she learns the lesson it came to teach, she steps into a version of herself that is fearless, confident, and unshakable. Boundaries are people boundaries. There was a time when she let things slide. There was a time when she made excuses for people's behavior. There was a time when she put other people's comfort above her own well-being. But that time is over. Because now she understands something that changes everything. Boundaries are power. A woman without boundaries is a woman who is constantly drained. She gives, and in return she is taken for granted. She tries to keep the peace, but in doing so she loses herself. She allows disrespect because she believes in people's potential rather than their actions. But when she learns the power of no, everything shifts. No, she will not tolerate lies. No, she will not accept inconsistency. No, she will not keep giving to people who only take. No, she will not stay silent when her heart is screaming for change. Because she now understands that boundaries are not about pushing people away. They are about protecting her energy, her heart, and her peace. And here's the most powerful part. When she sets boundaries, she doesn't just demand better from others. She becomes better herself. She no longer seeks validation from people who don't value her. She no longer begs for attention or approval. She knows her worth, and she refuses to let anyone make her feel less than she is. When a woman learns to set boundaries, she stops playing small. She stops accepting breadcrumbs. She stops explaining herself to people who don't deserve access to her. And in doing so, she attracts a life filled with real love, real respect, and real happiness. Boundaries don't push the right people away, they push the wrong ones out. And once she understands that, she never goes back to the woman she used to be. Self-worth is non-negotiable. There was a time when she questioned herself, a time when she wondered if she was enough, if she was lovable, if she was worthy of the things she desired. But those days are over, because now she understands something that changes everything. Her self-worth is non-negotiable. She spent too long allowing others to dictate how she felt about herself, too long measuring her value based on how someone else treated her, too long accepting the bare minimum because she thought love meant sacrificing herself. But that version of her, she doesn't exist anymore. She has risen into a woman who knows her value, and once she sees it, she can never unsee it. She no longer waits for someone else to choose her, she chooses herself. She no longer tolerates disrespect just to keep the peace. She walks away from anything that doesn't serve her. She no longer asks for the love she deserves, she commands it. And if it's not given freely, she has no problem leaving the table where she is no longer valued. You see, when a woman recognizes her worth, she stops seeking validation outside of herself. She stops trying to prove her value to people who refuse to see it. She stops bending over backward for relationships that drain her. Instead, she builds herself up. She pours into her own life. She focuses on becoming the best version of herself, not to impress others, but because she deserves it. And here's the truth. When a woman stands firm in her worth, the wrong people fall away. The manipulators, the takers, the ones who only wanted her for what she could give, they can't survive in her world anymore. But the right people, the ones who see her for who she truly is, they step up. They respect her. They match her energy. Because a woman who knows her worth will never settle again. She will never shrink herself to fit into someone else's small-minded version of her. She will never accept less than she gives. And once she locks into that mindset, she becomes unstoppable. Revenge is unnecessary. There was a time when she wanted revenge, a time when she wanted them to feel the pain they put her through, a time when she thought the only way to heal was to see them suffer. But now she understands something far more powerful. Revenge is unnecessary. You see, when a woman truly heals, she realizes that she doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. She doesn't need to stoop to their level. She doesn't need to waste a single second of her life trying to make them regret losing her. Because the real revenge, it's not in hurting them, it's in becoming so powerful, so successful, so radiant that they can't even reach her anymore. She doesn't waste her energy on people who betrayed her. She uses that energy to build herself up. She doesn't obsess over how to get back at them. She focuses on how to elevate herself. She doesn't hold on to anger because she knows that holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. No, she lets go, she moves forward, and she rises higher than ever before. And here's the thing. Nothing makes a narcissist regret losing her more than watching her thrive, watching her live her best life, watching her glow, succeed, and love herself in ways they never could. That is the ultimate win. She no longer reacts to their games. She no longer engages in their drama. She no longer allows them access to her peace because she knows that true power comes not from retaliation, but from evolution. And once she steps into her highest self, she doesn't even remember why she ever wanted revenge in the first place. She's too busy winning. She rises stronger. A narcissist's biggest mistake is thinking they can break a loyal woman, that they can tear her down and leave her shattered, that they can take advantage of her love and she will never recover. But what they don't realize is that a loyal woman always rises stronger. At first, the pain may have knocked her down. At first, the betrayal may have shaken her. At first, she may have doubted herself, questioned everything, and felt like she lost a part of who she was. But that was only temporary. Because the thing about strong women, they don't stay broken. They rebuild themselves from the ground up. And when they do, they come back unbreakable. She learns from the experience. She studies the patterns. She recognizes the red flags she ignored before. And this time, she doesn't fall for the same tricks. This time, she doesn't allow the same people back into her life. This time, she operates from a place of wisdom, not just emotion. And that's what makes her powerful. She isn't just surviving, she's thriving. She isn't just moving on, she's leveling up. She isn't just healing, she's transforming. Because every time she has been knocked down, she has risen stronger than before. And now she knows that nothing can stop her. Her past doesn't define her. Her pain doesn't limit her. Her experiences don't break her. They make her. And now she stands as a woman who has seen it all, who has felt it all, and who refuses to let anything hold her back ever again. She has become unstoppable. The narcissist loses in the end. In the end, the narcissist always loses. Always. Not because she sought revenge, not because she tried to destroy them, but because they lost access to something they will never find again. A woman who was willing to give them everything they thought she would always be there. They thought they could keep manipulating her. They thought they could keep playing their mind games, gaslighting her and making her feel like she wasn't enough. But they were wrong. Because when a woman reaches her breaking point, she doesn't just leave, she elevates. And here's what the narcissist never expected. She doesn't just move on, she glows up. She doesn't just forget them, she outgrows them. She doesn't just heal, she flourishes. And when they finally realize what they lost, when they come back thinking they can lure her in again, they are met with a harsh reality. She is no longer the woman they once knew. They don't get another chance. They don't get to come back into her life. They don't get to experience her love, her loyalty, or her kindness anymore. Because once she wakes up, she never goes back to sleep. Once she sees their true colors, she never unsees them. Once she reclaims her power, she never hands it over again. And that is the narcissist's greatest punishment. Not her anger, not her revenge, but the simple truth that they lost a woman they will never be able to replace. A woman who has stepped into her greatness, a woman who has become everything they feared, a woman who doesn't need them anymore. Because once a loyal woman learns her worth, she becomes untouchable, the rise of an unbreakable woman. So here we are, a woman who once gave everything, her love, her loyalty, her heart, only to be hurt by someone who never deserved her. A woman who once believed in potential over reality, who forgave when she should have walked away, who poured into someone who only took. But that woman, she doesn't exist anymore. She has evolved, she has risen, she has transformed into a force that cannot be manipulated, broken, or controlled. Because once the narcissist hurts a loyal woman, she will never be the same again. And that is their loss, not hers. She has stepped into her power. She knows who she is. She knows what she brings to the table, and she will never let anyone diminish her worth again. She no longer seeks validation. She gives it to herself. She no longer tolerates disrespect. She removes herself from anything that does not serve her. She no longer plays small. She takes up space. She speaks her truth. She stands in her strength. And the best part, she doesn't carry bitterness. She doesn't carry hate. She doesn't carry resentment, because she understands that the greatest revenge isn't retaliation, it's elevation. It's becoming so strong, so confident, so fulfilled that the past no longer holds any power over her. She has learned that pain is a teacher, that boundaries are power, that her self-worth is non-negotiable, and that she is capable of more than she ever imagined. So to every woman who has been hurt, betrayed, and disrespected, this is your moment. This is your awakening. This is your time to rise. The past did not break you, it built you. The hurt did not define you, it refined you. The betrayal was not your end, it was your rebirth. And now you move forward fearless, unapologetic, unstoppable. Because the woman you have become, she is a woman no one will ever take for granted again.